Good afternoon. I'm Trinity Chavez. It is Monday, February 5th, and you are watching NYSE TV Live. While the New York Stock Exchange is best known for being the epicenter of global financial markets, it has also hosted many meaningful events, initiatives, and celebrations from organizations around the world. And this afternoon, we are celebrating the 38th Annual National Girls and Women's in Sports Day, which officially takes place this Wednesday. Now, for those of you who may not know, National Women and Girls in Sports Day began nearly 4 decades ago, uniting top organizations and elite women athletes to bring national attention to the promise of girls and women in sports. In 1987, its inaugural year, the day also served as a remembrance of Olympic volleyball player Flo Hyman for her athletic achievements and dedication to promoting equality for women's sports. Hyman died, though, of Marfan syndrome in 1986. Now, the day has since evolved into an event to acknowledge the accomplishments of girls and women in sports, the positive influence of sports participation, and the continuing struggle for equality for women in sports. Today's celebration is being held by Deep Blue Sports and Entertainment, which is also on a mission to take women's sports to the next level. The firm established this past December and wants to become the top agency for women's sports. Deep Blue provides a variety of services, including platform development and brand strategy, media investment, and brand partnerships. And to honor the occasion, we have Deep Blue branding all over this iconic building, from the cubes behind me above the trading floor to their branding really all over the building. Laura Correnti, the company's founder and CEO, will ring the closing bell in less than a half an hour. Now, it's important to note that the company's launch is extremely timely, and according to research from Deloitte, revenue from women's top leagues will cross the $1 billion threshold this year, and the professional services company predicting that women's elite sports will generate global revenues of approximately $1.3 billion. If this happens, it will be the first time ever that annual global revenues for women's sports will reach 10 figures. Now, we have so much more to get to, but we're going to continue our live coverage from the boardroom. We'll see you in a few.
Welcome to the New York Stock Exchange, y'all. This is awesome. We have a lot of room, and there's still a lot of people coming in, so shift this way. Welcome. I'm Stephanie Dobbs-Brown. I am the Chief Marketing Officer of the New York Stock Exchange and ICE, its parent company. I cannot tell you how thrilled we are to have all of you here today. What a moment to be able to celebrate Girls and Women in Sports Day, but really a big celebration around Laura Correnti and all the work she is doing around Deep Blue Sports and Entertainment. I don't think I need to tell anyone in this room about the momentum surrounding women's sports. I mean, Laura and I have had this conversation a lot over the last few hours. To have this many people in a room, for IPOs, you get a lot of people in a room. For a day that's not necessarily to an IPO, we'll get, obviously a decent crowd, but this is really something. And yes, it's a testament, I think, to Deep Blue, but it's also a testament to girls and women in sports and all of the momentum around it right now. So this is going to come as no surprise, but just to recap a little bit around the momentum, last year we saw the biggest broadcast deal ever get closed for a women's sports league. Almost 10 million average viewers for the NCAA women's final. I think everybody saw this, at least on Instagram. The women's sports attendance at a Nebraska volleyball game, almost 100,000 people showing up for that game. So I think it's pretty safe to say that this is not a moment, as I think everybody has heard Laura say. It is a movement, and today is part of that movement. So thank you for all being here. When we were talking about really celebrating this day, we thought, what better person and organization to ring today's closing bell than Laura Correnti, CEO and founder of Deep Blue Sports and Entertainment. So as many of you know, Laura has been relentlessly focused on the business of women's sports and recently launched Deep Blue to truly change the game of women's sports, from influencing outdated business models to increasing the visibility around investment, storytelling, all around women's sports. Laura has been thinking about this, as many of you know, for years. And to be able to be in here celebrating the launch of this company that I think we all know is going to make a difference and an impact is something that's really special. So much progress has been made in recent years, and there is so much momentum, as we can all feel right now, around this, but there's still so much more to do. But anyone who knows Laura, this is where she's going to get a little bit embarrassed, but I'm going to go for it anyway. Anyone who knows Laura knows her vision, her drive, her tenacity, her passion, her hustle. When she wants to get something done, she is absolutely relentless. And that if anybody is going to actually truly, truly help us get there, it's Laura. So I cannot think of a better way to celebrate Girls and Women in Sports Day than celebrating the launch of Deep Blue Sports and Entertainment at the New York Stock Exchange. The epicenter, as we just saw, of culture and capital, and where countless icons, disruptors, entrepreneurs have all come to ring the iconic bell of the New York Stock Exchange. So I couldn't be more thrilled to have Laura come on up. So we have a gift for you. So everybody that rings the bell gets a medallion to really commemorate the day. So we will hold this for you. The Rock was here last week, y'all.
Now we're here.
It's Laura and The Rock. So we will hold this for you, but everybody that rings the bell gets this medallion. So feel free to.
What an intro. Before we get started, I'd actually love for all the young girls in attendance to come up and join me on the stage. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Brooklyn is well represented today. Thank you, Steph, as well as ICE, for recognizing the achievements and progress within women's sports during, as you said it, Stephanie, this undeniable growth moment for the industry as ratings and records continue to be broken seemingly on a regular, if not daily, basis. That said, 45% of girls drop out of sports by the age of 14 due to body confidence issues, in addition to other reasons, according to a recent Nike and Dove study. Meanwhile, over 90% of women in the C-suite have played sports at some point in their lives, while over 50% of those women have played at the collegiate level. Connect those dots. What is lost between early teenage years to professional careers, not just for women and girls, but also for our economy and our society due to a lack of visibility, storytelling, and access is not lost on us. That's why today's recognition of National Girls and Women in Sports Day here on Wall Street is so important. Since 1987, Congress has recognized women's contributions to sports and society with events organized by members of the National Girls and Women in Sports Day Coalition, including an event that's taking place tomorrow by the Women's Sports Foundation at my alma mater in Washington, D.C., American University, where, sidebar, a few of my college teammates who played with me at American are here today. And as we were part of the school's first ever Women's Soccer Patriot League championship winning team, I just want to give a shout out to the class of 2006. This day was originally created to remember Olympic volleyball player Flo Hyman for her achievements and work for equality. I wanted to share a quote of Flo's that I believe reflects my thoughts on this very moment and Deep Blue's mission. And I quote, "To be true to oneself is the ultimate test in life. To have courage and the sensitivity to follow your hidden dreams and to stand tall against the odds that are bound to fall in your path. Life is too short and too precious to be dealt with in any other fashion." As National Girls and Women's Sport Day has evolved to recognize all female athletes who have had the courage to follow their dreams and to stand tall in adversity. And the progress made since Title IX was passed in 1972, we are here because the work continues. And as evidenced by these young women standing next to me, it must continue. It's imperative that commercial investment continue to move into women's sports, including resources, infrastructure, media coverage, and content, to encourage girls not just to play, but to stay in sport, to develop those critical skill sets that later materialize into profound economic and societal returns for our global communities. Deep Blue exists to impress this imperative upon the business community, and as we ring the New York Stock Exchange closing bell today, may it be heard across the country and the world that women's sports isn't just having a moment. Everyone, it is the moment. And before I close, I want to acknowledge a few MVPs in my life who have inspired, encouraged, and supported me to chase my own goals and ambitions that brought me to this iconic moment. I want to thank so many of my ad industry colleagues that are in the room today. Incredible turnout, and so many of you have played such an important role in my career. We're truly fortunate to be able to have a platform as an industry to inspire and maybe even change the world. Thank you to my Giant Spoon team, whose willingness to try anything and give a damn motivates me every day, and to Trevor, John, and Mark, Giant Spoon's co-founders, for not only investing in me, but the mission of Deep Blue. Thank you to my clients who have entertained my crazy ideas, some in this room, and have said yes to a few along the way, especially a decades-long relationship with Beth Comstock and Linda Boff of GE, who opened doors and showed me a path I didn't know was possible. One that included permission slips to try, and where creative thinking not only mattered, it was a mandate. Thank you to my fellow Sharks, the original members of the Deep Blue team, our athlete advisory, and my business partner, WNBA legend Sue Bird, for jumping into the deep end and believing in this work and this mission. Thank you to my family and friends who are here today, many of which took time off of work and traveled long distances to do so. My life has and always will be a team sport, and it's a team that is stacked, a stacked roster, and I want you all to know how much I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I want to call out and thank my brother, Robert, who's always reminding me with just seconds on the shot clock, you want the ball. Thank you to my husband, Santiago, who sacrifices so much for me to stand up here. Your unwavering commitment to me, to the support of my dreams, is the greatest gift. And to my parents, my biggest cheerleaders, who have always given me the runway and reassurance to be fully me. Thank you for the years of time and hard-earned money spent to give me every opportunity so that a girl with a wild imagination and big dreams from Kearny, New Jersey could stand here today as the founder and CEO of Deep Blue Sports and Entertainment, moments away from ringing the New York Stock Exchange closing bell. I love you both. And finally, to you, the young girls in the room with us today, know that the sky is not the limit. It's just a view. And with that, let's go make some noise and ring this bell. We're going to go down, y'all, and we're going to ring the bell, which is, as many of you know, a very long-standing tradition to ring the bell of the New York Stock Exchange. So it actually, in this building alone, we've been ringing this bell since 1903, but it actually dates back to the 1870s. So really long-standing tradition, but a few things have changed over the years. So let me give you a few pointers or guidelines before we head down. One, CNBC reports live from the floor, which is great. Everybody's role in this room is to cheer so loud that you actually interrupt the broadcast, because then they have to talk about this. So that is us all doing our collective part around this. Number two, you can take photos. We encourage you to take photos. You can take videos. Now,
we just heard from Stephanie Dobbs-Brown along with Laura Correnti, who is Deep Blue Sports and Entertainment's co-founder and CEO. They were talking about how today is a movement. We are here at the epicenter of culture and capital, celebrating Deep Blue today. And also, I loved how Laura was talking about how important it is to really have the courage to stand up for your dreams, but not only that, also adversity, and how this is just the beginning. The work continues because it must continue. Very important messages right there. Now, joining me to talk more about this is Maria Colacurcio, who is the CEO at Syndio, a company providing expert-backed technology to help businesses achieve workplace equity. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Trinity. Thanks so much for having me today.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you. And, I know that you're an advocate for equal pay and you're very passionate about sports as well. So can you take us through some of the biggest challenges female athletes are facing when it comes to pay equity?
Absolutely. And I'm going to start with just a quick story because I have 7 kids, as you know, and 5 of them are girls. And 2 of my daughters, identical twins, compete in competitive cheer. And a couple of days ago, a dear friend of mine was talking to them and she asked them, what do you love most about cheer? Expecting their answer to be along the lines we think about for women. Something like, I love my coaches, or I love spending time with my team. One of my daughters looked her straight in the face and said, I love winning. And she said it without any affect. And that's one of the things that we need to work on, because there was a study that came out a couple of weeks ago that women, particularly in the workplace, ambition is still looked down upon as a trait that holds us back. And holds us back not just in how we're able to progress, but holds us back in things like pay and opportunity equity. So I think it's more than just pay. It's also this cultural moment of it's got to be okay for women to want to win.
No, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. But from your perspective, how do you address this problem and what are some viable solutions that you see?
Absolutely. So what we're seeing with workplaces as well as with sports organizations is that you've got to be analyzing why you pay what you pay and making sure that you have pay parity by using data and analytics to come to that conclusion. So that's the software that we offer, but it enables companies to not just stick their finger in the air to figure out, are we paying people fairly, but to have a very analytical approach to identify, do they have disparities that are because of something like gender, race, or ethnicity?
And what do you think are some of the major key factors when it comes to such a pay disparity between women and men's sports? What do you think is driving this?
I think a lot of it is some of the negotiation that goes into these contracts. You've got to go at it from the perspective of what does parity look like? And there's so much discretion that goes into some of the ways the contracts are constructed that we've got to take a step back and think about parity. We've got to think about parity in terms of making sure that the women athletes are not held back in these contractual arrangements because of things like parental leave, or having a baby, or coming back after that, but really looking at it from why are they paid what they're paid? Is it because of revenue? Is it because of performance? Is it because of something else? And making sure that those are aligned and in lockstep to create equity across the board.
And as a CEO, what sort of advice would you have for companies, organizations, or different sports leagues to really bridge that gap when it comes to pay equality?
I think one of the biggest things is that it's really difficult right now to become and stay an employer of choice, a place where people want to work, they want to stay, they want to participate. And so as a company, you've got to start leaning into transparency, leaning in to engage with your employee resource groups, whether that's your women's network or other networks, and be willing to create the transparency and saying, we're committed to analyzing our pay equity and communicating to you a summary of those results in order to build that trust. That's one of the biggest things companies and organizations can do right now.
Some very important advice. Thank you so much, Maria, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, former U.S. soccer player Ali Krieger was a 2-time World Cup champion who led Gotham FC, a soccer team in the National Women's Soccer League, to a championship in 2023. She celebrated her recent retirement by ringing the closing bell here at the New York Stock Exchange, where our very own Judy Shaw caught up with her and asked her all about her career highlights. Let's take a listen. And welcome back. I am here now with Ali Krieger. Ali, congratulations on an amazing career. When you look back at your career, tell me, what are your biggest highlights?
I think my biggest highlight was obviously fighting for equal pay. That's first and foremost. And also winning world championships and being a part of the Olympic team. And ultimately, I think with all that being said, making lifelong friendships with my teammates is probably the most proud I am about playing football.
Okay, now you mentioned
actually fighting for women's equal rights. Now tell me, why was that so important to be an advocate for female players?
Yeah, because we have to fight for what we deserve, and we have to use our voice and our platform for good. And we have to continue that work, continue that fight, because we're not only just fighting for us as individuals or our team, we're fighting for women across all industries. And we thought at that moment, and we still do, think that it's time that we just continue to fight for equality, equity, respect, for the same amount of work that we put in as our counterpart.
All right, so big game coming up on Sunday. It is your last home regular season game against Kansas City. Tell me, what are your emotions as you head into this game?
There's a few emotions. Obviously, hopefully it's not my last game with Gotham or wearing the Gotham jersey. It's my last official club home game ever. And so it's bittersweet. My family, my friends, everyone will be there to support not only the team, but me and my career. And I'm so fortunate, and I feel all the love and the support. And so I'm trying to focus on the task at hand, because we want to win. If we win, we get into the playoffs. And so that's the most important thing, but also just to feel all the love and appreciation that, the fans and supporters are showing me for my career, and all of that, all of those gifts have really been so amazing, and I'm inspired by them every day, and I'm motivated every day, and I can't wait for the future in the next phase, but I'm really going to try to soak it all in.
Okay, you can't wait for the future, you can't wait for the next phase, but tell me, what's next?
I would love to be in, broadcasting or analyzing, or I love talking soccer, sports in general, but I really have tried to perfect this game for over 30 years, right? And so I don't know if I should, go and do something completely different. I want to stay within the game. I want to continue to fight for women in sport and women in general. And I think that that's something that is always going to be, the first task for me, and something that's really, really important, and something that I really value.
All right, well, looking forward to your next chapter. Congratulations on an amazing career.
Thank you.
On your retirement.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. I appreciate it.
All right, you guys, we are on the trading floor right now. Again, an active trading floor. It's filling up just right behind me. Again, dozens of the friends, colleagues, just supporters of Deep Blue here today, watching them close out the U.S. equity markets in just a few minutes. We're about 8 minutes away. Let's take a better shot at this crowd gathering right in front of CNBC's set. You guys are going to get very excited, right, when we're closing out the bell. You're a little shy right now, a little shy. All right, they're a little bit camera shy, but I'm sure they're going to get all loud when we're getting ready to close out the U.S. equity markets. Actually, Stephanie Dobbs-Brown, she spearheads all the marketing here for NYSE and ICE. And we heard you in the boardroom. You really gave some heartfelt, mementos there, talking about we are the epicenter of culture and capital, and we're really showcasing that here today. Can you tell me about the significance of today specifically?
Yeah, sure. So, I think we're celebrating girls and women in sports, and I think everybody knows, and you can feel how much momentum there is right now. You see it in the attendance at sports, you see it in all the conversations around pay equity, and today is really around not only celebrating that momentum, but really around what comes next and how do we keep that momentum going. And there is such an opportunity to really focus on updating outdated business models, to really focusing on women and their stories, and really creating brands out of women in the same way that it is around male athletes. And so how do we level that playing field between men and women? And that then transcends into everything: media deals, compensation, pay equity. And I think that's really what today is about is, Laura said it, is, there's no ceiling around this, but it does require focus and effort and momentum. And I think all of those things are what today is about.
Absolutely. And the NYSE hosts over 3,000 events a year. I mean, Can you take me through what kind of events that we showcase here?
Yeah, so we do almost 3,000 events a year. A lot of them will have to do with when a company is listing on the New York Stock Exchange. Companies will also come to the exchange to celebrate a big moment. Maybe it's an anniversary. They'll come to the exchange for an investor day. We'll also have cultural moments. So we have a lot of athletes that come into the exchange to celebrate, whether it is a big win, whether we have Olympians that will come in after the Olympics. And it's really an opportunity. This is such an epicenter of culture and capital. And so how do we celebrate that?
And I know that you're very busy. I'm going to actually bring in Laura right now, but thank you, Stephanie. All right, let's grab Laura right now. Hi, Laura. How are you?
How are you? Thank you.
I wish I could shake your hand, but I have no hands. We heard you in the boardroom. It's a hugely significant day. To have everybody here, can you tell me more about the significance? You're about to close out the U.S. equity markets and being here.
Yeah, women's sports, as we like to say, isn't just having a moment. It is the moment. As you're watching across the country and around the world, there are ratings and records in terms of attendance at sporting events happening on a regular basis, almost daily at this point. And so as we're watching this incredible consumer demand happening in and around this space, we believe it's really important for the commercial side in terms of best investment coming from brand marketers, media platforms, and properties to really meet this moment and make sure that from a consumer standpoint, the demand is there. We need to make sure from a supply standpoint, the investment is being made with respect to infrastructure, resources, storytelling, content. And so Deep Blue Sports and Entertainment was developed to make sure we're meeting this commercial moment and bringing our brand marketers over, into the space, introducing them to the opportunity with the intent of bringing more investment forward so that we can continue this incredible momentum and see the growth of this industry, which is projected to pass $1 billion in revenue for the first time this year.
And like you said, we have to continue this momentum. But so I'm going to let you go. You have a bell to ring. So
a bell to ring.
Yeah, get out of here. The bell waits for no one.
I know. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a look at a quick message from the New York Stock Exchange, and we'll be right back.
When you think of investment risk, do you consider climate risk? Changing weather patterns are impacting the way we live and the value of businesses, large and small. This can mean disruption to supply chains, changing demand for products, and shifting regulation. What does this mean for your business, your clients, and your investments? ICE offers data and markets that can provide critical insight. Manage your climate risk with ICE.
All right, we are about 2 minutes out from closing out the markets. You're going to hear the crowd completely cheer right behind me. We're actually on Kramer's set right now. He films Mad Money right here, where we're seeing there's Laura Diorio right there. She spearheads our social for the NYSE. She's grabbing some messages from the team of Deep Blue. And again, let me get out of the way here. See, this is what happens on the floor of the NYSE. There's always so many people. I'm getting hair in my mouth along the way. But anyway, again, let's take a actually, let's go try to talk to, do you want to say hi? What's up? So we saw you grabbing some social clips. So who'd you talk to?
Melissa Ortiz, Olympian and amazing athletic advisor, supporting these amazing girls here today. And then Victoria Brito, model, influencer, sports star, everything. So I get to highlight all of these wonderful people celebrating National Girls and Women in Sports Day with Deep Blue and Laura Correnti. So it's pretty easy day on my job today.
I love it. Oh, there's the crowd. There's the crowd. See that? So I was trying to get the crowd to get a little riled up, but they were saving it for them. I understand it. I understand.
They're ready to go. It is so great to welcome all of these people here today. The energy is totally electric, and I can't wait to celebrate on social. So you got to follow at NYSE to check everything, catch it all. You'll see the live there. You'll see all of the content post-game. So it's one of the best days.
So actually, it's Monday, and so just tell everybody what we have to look out for this week. We have about 30 seconds.
I forgot that it's Monday. Thank you for reminding me. Well, we just launched a whole brand campaign with the New York Stock Exchange. So I just filmed in Times Square for 2024 Happens Here, because as you can see, everything's happening here. So I'm rolling that out this week. We got a couple of companies coming in. I can't really talk about that, but
No, that's on the download.
that's on the download. But and you'll see all of the amazing content.
All right, I gotta wait. I gotta go.
Oh, we gotta.
All right, we're gonna listen to the bells. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Together, we built something truly beautiful in the true iconic notion of what America is all about.
This is our task, this is our mission. We have a clear focus and we have the ability to be agile and innovate.
It takes years of dedication to get us to this milestone. It is all because of you.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. It is the only thing that ever has.
To be a woman leader, it's not so easy, but it's easy if the passion and the love is coming from your heart.
The New York Stock Exchange is the symbol of what America is all about. Potential of capitalism, the potential of an American dream.
The only way you can move a society forward is a true expression of freedom.